Today I will be interviewing Phil Dancer. He's a home inspector from Dancer & Co. He will be answering the most commonly asked questions by buyers and sellers about the inspection process. So Phil, the last portion of our interview is going to be basically oriented towards sellers, right? I have, and I'm sure you do too, the same question over and over. When somebody is thinking about putting their home on the market, the question is, do I need to do a home inspection? Is it necessary, or should I wait for the buyers to do their home inspection and then we'll fix whatever is wrong? What do you think about it?
Interesting question. So there's no right or wrong. I think just like anything else in life, there really isn't a right or wrong. It just depends on how you feel about whatever it is that you're trying to make a determination on. But when it comes to selling, there are so many things that you're going to have to juggle when it comes to selling, but then also buying. And if you can kind of, I think one of the neat things that I've learned in life is pretty much, or a lot of things are beyond your control. So if you try to, if you try to control whatever it is that is in your control, then it's going to be a little bit more smoother of a process there. So one of the things that totally is in your control is how your house presents. And we already know that if you're selling your house, someone's going to bring in an inspector. I mean, that's almost a given. So if you want to try to make the process as smooth as possible and limit the ups, the roller coaster ride there, and not to have so many surprises, I think it definitely would be prudent to bring in a home inspector to try to help identify what are some of the concerns that the inspection community may bring up. But I would also caution all the families that are thinking about selling here within the next year. So don't think about the home inspection as, yes, this is everything that they identified, nothing else is going to come up, because remember, just like I had said before, an inspection is very opinionated, and it's the opinion of the home inspector. So if you get a good home inspector, he or she is probably going to identify the majority of the major concerns. However, when you bring in another home inspector, they're going to bring in a different set of eyes, which means they're going to bring up other issues. However, if that first inspector did their job well, there shouldn't be any large surprises.
So I'm asking that because and if any viewers actually watched any of my videos, I'm a big proponent of when selling your home, doing the inspection, just because it's worth it. Because when I represent a buyer, I use those things on the report to bring the price down or to justify why the maybe offer from the buyer is lower. Talk about maybe like two or three top issues that come up on on the inspection report that it's most likely has the chance of buyers walking out.
So I'm going to preface this by saying, I've done over 1,000 homes. So I've seen a lot of interesting things throughout my time as a home inspector. I really haven't seen something safety related that absolutely just stops the deal in its track. I will say that I have seen an inspection report stop a deal. And the reason why I think the inspection report can stop a deal is because the report has a lot more things on it than what was going to be anticipated. So some of the most common defects that I actually see that can be brought up as safety concerns is something like GFCI protection. So GFCI protection, for those of you that aren't aware, that's where if you were to see a receptacle that is 6 feet or closer to water, it has to be able to turn itself off if for some reason water touches it, to keep everybody safe. That is one of the most common safety concerns that we see in any type of resale. But I think the biggest one that actually stops a particular deal is actually not a specific defect itself, but the sheer number of defects that are in a report. And I think that's something that the real estate community can actually help alleviate in terms of concerns, or help kind of like weed out what's going to stop a deal versus what's not going to stop a deal. And I think it just comes with time. Is if we as a real estate community, and I mean not just us as home inspectors, but then also realtors as well, the more that we're all educated as a community in regards to what is obviously something that's a defect, and prep the buyers for, hey, just so you know, this is, this is damaged here, this is loose here, I see these things here. The home is this old. Let's take a look at what the serial numbers is on the furnace and see how old it is. And I mentioned serial numbers for furnaces because the serial number on an HVAC system furnace or a condenser, which helps create the air condition for the house, it's very easily discernible. Anyone can take a picture of the serial number and then Google essentially that particular manufacturer, find the serial code number, and then it'll actually tell you how old it is. And it's very easy to know how long that system lasts for just by Googling. And if we set those proper expectations with clients up front as a real estate community, there's less surprises there.
I hear you saying that it's all about expectations and basically keeping your eyes wide open and seeing things and not freaking out. We're not thinking that this is the end of the world.
setting proper expectations, because, and this is something that I always tell families, if you're looking at a house, so if you've already identified a house that you like, built during a specific time period, in a specific neighborhood, in a specific location, at a specific price point, chances are, if you take a whole grouping of those houses and set them side by side and do a report on each one, they might be slightly different. One house may be more plumbing heavy, another house may be more electrical heavy, another one might be more roof heavy, but in totality, you'll have roughly the same amount of things. So don't think that, oh, this house, there's so many things going on in this house. If I can just up my price point by $50,000, by $100,000, if I can just get into this type of neighborhood, it's all going to go away, because it doesn't. Because we are really, really fortunate to we help anybody, so we can help first-time home buyers, and then we also help families find their forever home. And their forever home sometimes can be in the multi-million-dollar range. And I've seen multi-million-dollar homes have the same types of problems in a first-time buyer house.
Yeah.
It's still there. So it's really, and that's the reason why it's never about a pass or fail. It's, hey, this is what the condition of the house is like. Do you love the house enough to want to do it?
So last question. I, in my experience as a realtor, seen only one house that had only one issue with that house. How about you? Have you seen a house that didn't have any issues whatsoever, and they we're basically coming back to the same question? Have you ever seen the perfect house?
Never seen the perfect house. If for some reason, if there really doesn't come, if no issues come back on the home inspection report, you really need to look at that home inspector,
because there is no perfect house.
There is no perfect house. And also remember, you're paying the home inspector to find things. So if that person isn't finding things, it really, the focus actually shifts from the house itself to the inspector. Because you can actually you could have a very knowledgeable home inspector, a very tenured home inspector. You can give that home inspector the best tools and also the best reporting software. But all those different variables, actually, those things don't translate into a good inspection. The one thing that actually translates into a good inspection is the amount of effort that a home inspector is willing to give.
Oh my God, and that's true for everything.
that is the most important thing, because what truly separates a home inspector from another home inspector. Because when you start comparing the best inspectors, they're all going to be knowledgeable, they're all going to have the best tools, and you'll also see them going to this similar types of homes. What's going to separate them is their willingness to be able to provide an experience, not just from an inspection standpoint, but from the initial welcome phone call to helping the client, not just after the report has been delivered, but years down the road. What is that experience going to be like? Because what I've actually transferred from my time in banking and in financial planning into the home inspection field is that, it's not a transactional type of relationship. I really do want it to be where the client views me as the relationship manager, just as you want to be viewed as a relationship manager, and we are the gateway into everything about a house. So if you want to have your house remodeled or redesigned, let's go talk to this person. If you want to add some new cool bath feature, let's go talk to the plumber. If you want to build a pool out back, let's go talk to the plumber. If you want to get new windows, let's go talk to the window person. We want to be that person, because it's going to make them feel good about about not just the transaction, but also about who we are as individuals, because we weren't just there to take their money and then just do the bare minimum and leave. We're truly there to help them with whatever it is that they need.
I can take everything that you said about yourself and about home inspectors and say exactly the same thing about realtors. Phil, thank you so much. I really appreciate your time, and I hope that we can do this some other time and talk about other issues, because God knows there are tons of issues to talk about when buying a new home. Either it's a resale or it's a new construction.
For sure.
Thank you.
Oh, you're very, very welcome.